Most gardeners lose their entire tomato harvest in June and never figure out why. Not because of pests, not because of bad soil, but because of 5 invisible mistakes that look completely harmless until it's too late. And number 3, that one alone wiped out gardens that have been thriving for years. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, your tomatoes will outlast every single plant on your street. Welcome back to Gentle Greens, the place where we grow smart, spend less, and still walk away with the best garden on the block. If you're new here, so glad you found us today. You're in the right place at the right time. And to everyone coming back, thank you. You keep this little garden community alive, and I genuinely love growing with you all. Before we get into it, if you haven't already, tap that subscribe button and turn on the bell. This channel is built for gardeners who want real results without draining their wallets. And every single week we bring you tips that actually work. Now let's get into these 5 mistakes, starting with the one that most gardeners never even think about. Mistake 1. Watering at the wrong time of day. All right, mistake number 1, and this one is so common it almost feels unfair to call a mistake. You're probably watering your tomatoes in the afternoon, maybe midday when the sun is blazing. It feels like the right thing to do, right? The plants look a little droopy, the soil feels warm, so you grab the hose and give them a good drink. Here is what is actually happening underneath. When you water in peak heat, the water sitting on the leaves acts like a magnifying glass under the sun. It scorches the foliage before it even gets a chance to absorb properly. And the water that does reach the soil evaporates so fast your roots barely get a sip. The fix is incredibly simple and costs you absolutely nothing. Water early in the morning. We're talking before 9 a.m. if you can manage it. This gives your tomatoes time to drink deeply before the heat kicks in and the leaves stay dry by the time the sun is overhead. If mornings are impossible for you, late evening works too, but morning is always better. This one shift alone can change the entire health of your plant through June and beyond. Mistake 2. Ignoring the soil temperature. Mistake number 2 is one that will genuinely surprise you because it looks like nothing is wrong on the surface. In June, your soil temperature starts climbing fast. Most gardeners are focused on the air temperature, checking the weather app, watching the forecast. But your tomato roots live in the ground, not in the air. And when the soil gets too hot, those roots start to shut down. When roots are stressed by heat, your plant stops absorbing nutrients properly even if your soil is full of them. You end up with a plant that looks okay from a distance, but is basically running on empty. The solution? Mulch. A simple 2 to 3 inch layer of straw, dried leaves, or even grass clippings laid around the base of your tomato plant acts like a temperature blanket for your soil. It keeps things cooler underground, retains moisture longer, and it breaks down over time, adding nutrients back into the ground. This is one of those cheap garden moves that gives you back so much more than it costs. A bag of straw mulch from a local garden store is usually just a few dollars, and it lasts the whole season. Mistake 3. Over pruning in the heat. Now here is mistake number 3, and this is the one I mentioned in the opening that has genuinely ended thriving gardens. Pruning tomatoes is important. We all know that. Removing suckers helps the plant focus its energy. But in June, when temperatures are rising, over-pruning at the wrong time leaves your tomato plant exposed and vulnerable in a way that is hard to recover from. Here's what happens. Those big leafy branches you're cutting away, they're actually shading the fruit and the lower stem from direct sun. When you remove too many of them too quickly during a heat wave, your tomatoes get something called sun scald. The fruit develops white or yellowish patches on the side facing the sun. It looks like a disease, but it is actually a burn. The rule for June is simple. Prune lightly and prune in the morning. Never remove more than a third of your plant's foliage at once during hot months. Give it time to adjust. And if you notice your fruit is sitting in direct sun with no leaf cover, don't panic. A light shade cloth draped loosely over the plant during the hottest part of the day can save your harvest without costing much at all. Really quick before we continue, if this is already making sense to you and you're thinking about someone else who grows tomatoes and needs to hear this, share this video with them. And if you have not liked this video yet, go ahead and do that now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more gardeners who need this kind of help, and it takes you about 1 second. Okay, back to it. because we have two more mistakes, and they're just as important. Mistake 4. Feeding your tomatoes the wrong way in June. Mistake number 4 is about fertilizing, and the mistake here is not that gardeners skip it. It is that they do too much of it or use the wrong type at the wrong time. In June, your tomato plant is shifting from growing leaves and stems to focusing on producing fruit. That is a big internal change. And a lot of gardeners keep feeding their plants high nitrogen fertilizer all the way through summer. Nitrogen is great for leafy green growth, but too much of it in June tells your plant to keep pushing out leaves instead of locking in on the fruit. What your tomatoes actually need in June is phosphorus and potassium. These are the nutrients that support root strength, flower development, and fruit production. You do not need expensive products to get this right. Banana peel compost tea, wood ash sprinkled lightly around the base, or a simple balanced fertilizer with a lower nitrogen number on the label are all affordable and effective options. Feed your tomatoes every 2 weeks in June, not every week, and always water first before applying any fertilizer to a dry plant. Feeding a dehydrated plant is like giving someone a heavy meal when they're already sick. The timing matters as much as the product. Mistake 5. Neglecting air circulation. And here we are at mistake number 5. This one is quiet. It does not scream for attention, but it is one of the most damaging things you can let slide in June. As your tomato plants grow taller and fuller through the warmer months, the inside of the plant gets crowded. Leaves start overlapping, stems grow close together, and the airflow through the plant drops significantly. In a warm, humid June, that trapped moisture inside your plant becomes a playground for fungal diseases like early blight and septoria leaf spot. You will start noticing small brown spots on your lower leaves first. Many gardeners mistake this for a watering problem or a nutrient deficiency, but it is almost always a circulation issue. The good news is fixing this does not cost you anything. Go into your plant and gently remove the leaves growing closest to the ground. The bottom 6 to 8 inches of the plant should be clear of foliage entirely. This allows air to move through, reduces splashback from the soil when it rains, and slows the spread of any ground-level fungi dramatically. Space your plants well from the start, too. If they're already planted close together, stake and tie them so they grow upward rather than outward. A little airflow goes a very long way in keeping your June tomatoes disease-free without a single spray or treatment. So there you have it. 5 mistakes that are incredibly easy to avoid once you know what to look for. Water in the morning, protect your soil temperature with mulch, prune carefully and lightly in the heat, switch your feeding to support fruit production, and always keep that air moving through your plant. None of these fixes cost much. Most of them cost nothing at all. And that is exactly what Gentle Greens is about, giving you the knowledge to grow confidently without spending more than you need to. If you found this helpful today, please leave a comment below and tell me which of these 5 mistakes you have been making without even realizing it. I read every single comment, and I love hearing from you. Subscribe to Gentle Greens if you have not already. New videos come out every week, and every one of them is built around helping you grow more for less. Until next time, keep your hands in the dirt and your plants happy. See you in the next one.